Many parents are preparing to buy supplies and clothing for the coming school year, while parents with young kids are looking for a child care facility. It is not a decision to take lightly because, of course, there is a lot at stake. And joining us now, Howard Schwartz from the Better Business Bureau. Thank you so much for being here this morning.
My pleasure.
So how many parents are we talking about here? How many kids are looking for child care spots? And is it competitive to get into one of those good places?
It is competitive, and more than half of children under the age of 5 actually have some sort of arrangements to go to daycare, childcare, while their parents are at work. But right now, the most important thing to do now is, if you're looking for a childcare facility, is to start right away. It's something to keep in mind. A childcare center should really be more than a babysitting service. Childcare is where most youngsters are exposed to other kids the same age for the first time. They get to practice their interaction and their other social skills, as well as other skills that will just take them through their whole lives. So that really is the key there.
So what's the first thing parents should do when they're trying to research a good facility?
They should definitely speak to other people, parents whose kids have been in the facility recently, why you do not like the facility. And let's remember that at this time of year, the spaces close very quickly. So you don't want to wait too long, but on the other hand, you don't want to be rushed into making a decision, and because so much is at stake. So of course you can check their reputation, what other consumers have said at bbb.org. And let's remember that we're talking again about safety, giving up our most prized commodities to someone else. We want to make sure that they're qualified and that they're secure, but also that the young kids are being challenged mentally.
So I see check fee structure. Now, obviously, I think with childcare, it could be easy to maybe overspend, thinking that that might get you better services. Is that always the case?
I don't know that it's always the case, but when we're talking about a fee structure, it means, are there fees for other things, such as lunches, or do you bring your own? What about activities that you're going out on, overnights and that sort of thing? What happens if you drop your kids off late or make a late payment? These are things for which you can be penalized.
And how early should you start researching these facilities? I mean, I know childcare can start very early in life. Yeah.
Ultimately, as quickly as possible, if they're old enough. 5 years. By 5 years old, you should find children in daycare.
All right. Checklist?
The checklist.
We got a checklist?
We do.
Nice.
Several things on our checklist, and that is to make sure that you ask about the training of the people who live there. Is there a criminal background check done on them before they actually join? And you also want to understand about their training. What have they been trained to do exactly? Taking a cue from the kids, this is interesting. Ask whether or not your child can spend some time at the daycare just to see how they feel about it.
I like that.
And when we're talking about checking to see how other kids taking a cue from the kids, that means look at the other students. Do they look happy? Do they look engaged in what's presented to them at the daycare?
I can imagine a lot of people are kind of thinking about this before the beginning of the school year, as some kids are going back to school and some have other little ones at home. Is September a busier time of year for people to be joining these childcare facilities? September
is busy. The fall is busy. It really has nothing to do with the work schedule, except that you're getting back from work.
Right.
If you're on vacation, but something that is extremely important to keep in mind, and that has to do with the location of the childcare services place. A lot of folks are inclined to find one that's on the way to work or close to work. But if you consider a childcare center that's in town, they can make friends who they meet at school, and they also have the opportunity to build up a relationship with everybody. And some childcare centers will actually help transition your children to kindergarten. So it's a different situation if you get one closer to home.
That would be great. Well, thank you so much, Howard Schwartz. Great information as usual. And of course, for more information, you can always head to our website, WTNH.com. Just click on the Good Morning Connecticut Weekend section.